5th of November already. Where the hell has the year gone? So just going to start on the Nasdaq. So daily, we've broken below that 50 EMA. On the 4 hour, what I'm looking at is this wick here. So price has been pushing up, but again on the 4 hour, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs. We've got nice sort of pullback to this extreme area here, this big wick. So on the 1 hour, there is also a point of interest within that. So we'll see if at 2:30, if price can push up into this and then see if we get any sort of confirmation. And then from there, we've got this nice Asia range just down the bottom. So we've got a nice little clear target to go for there. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's have a quick look at DAX. I don't think there's an awful lot. Again, sort of turned very bearish. Just took out this, I believe that was a weekly low now. Filled that, but again, everything's sort of pushing down. We've got this large wick here. So price may push lower. Daily, again, very, very strong move down. Nothing too obvious. Obviously got a daily point of interest right at the top. As for the 4 hour, again, got a nice point of interest there. Filled that wick. So there is potential that price may pull back further up. On the 15, because there's not really anything clear there. So we've taken out Asia low. Still got Asia low down here. Almost took out this Asia high. But again, nothing too clear really to go on. Euro, it's been pushing down and down and down. There wasn't a setup yesterday, but I was looking at something. So again, making lower lows, lower highs on the daily, respecting that 50 EMA. 4 hour, we do have this large wick here. Price may come back up to fill. Hourly, yeah, what I was looking at yesterday was this point of interest here. So that was the 1 hour wick fill. Price came down, tapped in, fell away. So you can see from that hourly point of interest, once price pushed in, fell away. On the 15, that was essentially Asia being taken just before London. I think about, again, New York, there's not really anything to see. So there's not really any way of getting involved in that. Now, as it stands, taken out Asia low. So that has occurred. Going back to one of Steve Luke's videos where he's talking about directional wick fills, obviously these large wicks here. So we could see something like this wick here get filled. Price then pull back to something I can't really see. I think there's maybe a POI there. But I was looking at the news and it was something like NFP. No, what else was there? I swear it was like 130. There was like there was some sort of news, but I'm not really too sure. But yeah, again, not really too clued up on that, but I'll keep an eye on it. And then the pair that I've been having the most success with is gold, to be honest. So again, looking at that weekly point of view, obviously price at the moment has come down, taken out previous week's low, which bodes well for looking to take the high. Obviously, I closed that trade yesterday, which was down here. Obviously, it did pull back. Where did it pull back to? Well, it filled this 4 hour wick here. So that large wick. Price did eventually come back and fill it. And again, you can see here, there was another large wick, which price has come down and filled. One thing I noticed yesterday, so this trade that was in obviously just prior to London, was the fact that the low had gone on Asia and then price obviously rallied away, came back. This Asia low was left, that was taken. And again, we've just taken the Asia low, so Asia high may be a target. And this is the target I've got up here. Now, this trade here was based on the fact that, again, we've got a couple of confluences with these large wicks. So this large wick here, that was filled. Obviously, the 4 hour, been trying to keep these ideas in line with the 4 hour. So this was the wick here that I was looking at, and I noticed that price came down and filled. Now, this was on the 5 minute this morning. So again, just testing things out, seeing what was happening. And the actual entry, so I was watching price came down, it filled. And where did I, just trying to think, just check again, because the charts are slightly different to what I've got. Yeah, because again, the price on this is it completely different? Is the fact that when we seen this wick, that was it. So the entry on this one is actually, I'm just looking at the MT5 now to where I was trying to do it on my phone. I was watching price and I was on my phone and I wanted to get in here. So I was watching price, watching this candle opened, pushed down, and by the time I managed to get in, I actually entered here. So ideally, this is what he was talking about. Again, on what time was that? On the way to the tip. So that's the reason I was looking, because I was on the way to the tip. But after this candle sort of engulfed this body, I'm not too worried about the wick, but price pushed up, showed clear signs. And then this one, I was looking for an entry down here. So that's where we are at the moment. With regards to anything else that's happening, nothing really. I don't think there's any real imbalance that's been left. That's all been filled in now. And again, even on the hourly, for example, you can see this sort of pattern where prices come in. Obviously, we filled that wick. This candle's filled the high. And then because there's no imbalance, even if you were to have entered here, covered the low, you still would have been okay. And then obviously pushing forward from 12, came down, filled the imbalance and gone. But at the moment, Nasdaq's been a bit of a weird one. Again, we'll still watch this because I want to see how price reacts. And I think it has switched bearish because obviously at the moment it's now sort of respecting on the 4 hour this 50 EMA. So I'll see if this wick, if it pushes up here, that'd be a good area to. I've been sort of getting me biases a little bit mixed up, but yeah, we'll see if that goes up in a minute. Obviously got 230, and yeah, I don't think there's really anything here that's just taking that liquidity. So this is the hourly POI, but yeah, I've been taking more consistent trades using this method than just with what we were looking at before, and certainly it's been producing some very good results. So we'll see what happens. So I mean, even based on this stop at the moment, we just turn off the magnet. So at its high, you would have got 3 to 1. So from this morning, would have got 3 to 1. And again, I do believe that if you were to really go through and look at ideas and areas on the hourly, for example, and I'll go over the weekend just looking at maybe some higher time frame stuff just to see how it translates, so you can actually plan trades out. Again, if you're only looking once every hour and looking at things, so again, just going back to this, I'll just hide this. You'd see that, you know, very quickly, 4 hour. So if you had this marked out, once that's ran, that was ran at, and obviously filled this large wick as well. all you're waiting for then is for the next candle to basically engulf this high. If it leaves imbalance, you can set an order at the imbalance. The next couple of hours go on, there is no imbalance. So again, you could set an order, and we'll just do this. Imagine you were to have set an order here, covered the low, and then just aimed for a 3-to-1, or even a 2-to-1. If you're looking at the arrow, even if you're getting a 2-to-1, we'll just set a 3-to-1 here, hypothetically, and this is based on an entry on the hourly chart. Oh, it's going to do me a gone 3. There we go. And we'll see if that would have played out, and that's using the hourly based off of the 4-hour hourly, that sort of thing. So if it's a case of not being able to be at the charts the whole time, you know, there may be other ways to do this. Because again, I know on the daily, for example, when he looks at sort of things like we're waiting for a directional wick fills, for example. So like here, when price came down, we started leaving these large wicks. And again, perfect example, even on the daily. So he would say, you know, in the directional wick fill, you've got this large wick here. You're waiting for price to come up, engulf that. You get that there. Where's the highest probable place to get back in? The body close here. And where does price go? I mean, you could even have this marked on your chart just ready for, you know, something to happen. But look, again, tap there. I mean, obviously this would have been in October. And again, even if you covered this wick here, you could see it would have tapped. So I think there's definitely options that even if you haven't got the time, it does translate to all time frames. It's just going through which pair it works on the best and most consistently. And I have found that gold's been very consistent with a lot of entries. And again, sometimes with the moves, I know there was a move yesterday on the Nasdaq here. So yesterday I was talking about getting short after a tap into here, and it obviously stopped me out. What happened? Well, price in New York, as we know, the volume kicked in, took out Asia high. So took out the liquidity there. That's gone. That's going to do me head in. I thought we changed it. So we've taken out liquidity, and there was nothing left on the 15. If you went for a sweep entry, for example, that would have worked. I did have a quick little look on the 5-minute just because of how price was being. And again, similar sort of context. So we've taken out the high. This candle engulfs the low. So my eye was watching price, this candle, nothing's happening. So if you were to have entered here, for example, at the bodies like he talks about, again, you would have got a really nice entry there, tagged in. And even if you just targeted the low of that session, so again, that's 90 points. So again, even if we source that to the high, call it with a 50-point stop, which we know is a reasonable stop on the Nasdaq, even just to the session low there, that's a 7-to-1, just would have dropped off. So there's little things we can look at. So again, you know, session liquidity being taken, good reaction. It didn't quite make it to the Asia low, but again, if you're just looking at where this initial burst is, we know there's going to be liquidity sat down here. So that's something I noticed yesterday that you could have taken advantage of. What is price doing now? So we're slowly opening. So again, waiting for this 1-hour point of interest to be potentially tapped before I look at a possible short on the Nasdaq.